I just had to cuss out the whole of year 11. I was presenting in assembly today, and the speaker before me is a Nigerian man. He is Igbo and he has an accent. Tell me why, while he was speaking, all of the students were laughing, sniggering behind their hands. What? By the way, I teach in a school that serves predominantly African and Caribbean students. So before I made my announcement, I said to them, listen, I am disgusted. I am appalled. What? Your mums have accents, your grandmas have accents, and you have the temerity to sit here and laugh at somebody? I said the next time you open your mouth to laugh at somebody because they have an accent, I want you to imagine your parents, imagine your grandparents, imagine how small they have felt at times walking into the world and being laughed at because English is their second or third language. Appalled.
Oh my goodness, I have to give this woman a shout out, and let me tell you why, okay? It's about to be the saddest reason ever. Y'all have to be like, Flower Tower, that's the bare minimum. But honestly, most people don't even meet that bare minimum standard, so she getting her shout out, okay? The fact that this woman admitted that the students who were laughing at the Nigerian man's accent were African and Caribbean students, she gets a shout out for that. Because 99% of the time, when you see Africans and Caribbeans posting these videos talking about how somebody made fun of their accent or something, they always jump to blame Black Americans. And I'm not about to sit here and lie and say that Black Americans don't also do this foolishness or whatever, right? But y'all do too. And a lot of times the ones making fun of you all are you all. But it always gets pinned onto Black Americans as a scapegoat and sort of thing. And y'all, we about to talk all about this. Now, y'all know I'm a just flower. I attempt to be an unbiased tower. So I'm not even going to sit here and harp about the fact that there were African and Caribbean students making fun of this man's accent, as if, like this woman pointed out, their parents ain't got accents too, right? And how would they feel if somebody was sitting there kikiing about their parents' accents, right? I'm not even going to sit here and harp on that fact. I'm not, right? Because I understand that it's completely possible for people to have internalized self-hatred. There are plenty of dark-skinned people of all types of backgrounds. They may be Black American, they may be Caribbean, they may be African. Plenty of dark-skinned people who are colorist, who will sit there and say, oh, I don't want dark-skinned kids. I don't want to date a dark-skinned person, yada, 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 right? So I'm not going to sit here and act like these African and Caribbean students making fun of someone for having an African or Caribbean accent is the most foreign thing in the world to me, because I'm really not surprised by it. Like, I'm dark-skinned. I went to school with all Black Americans. I went to school in Detroit Public Schools. There were plenty of colorist Black Americans, plenty of colorist dark-skinned Black Americans. So this is not something unique to Africans and Caribbeans. But again, I'm giving her a shout out because of the fact that she took accountability for what is wrong in her community instead of trying to just pretend that it is a Black American problem. Now, this is my thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Black Americans are perfect and there are no issues in our communities or anything like that, right? But what I'm not going to stand for is you all using us as a scapegoat to throw every problem in your community onto us and pretend that your community is perfect. And you know what is going to stay in my mind forever and ever and ever? I'm never going to forget this. This was a couple years ago. It had to be back in this had to be like 2021, okay? Because I started my YouTube content creating in 2020. And this thing happened when I was already a little bit established in the content creating world, right? It was when Aaliyah J and her boyfriend tried Nigerian food, right? Now, mind you, Aaliyah J's boyfriend was Kenyan American, and he said this in the video. It was not a secret. So in the beginning of the video, he said, oh yeah, I'm Kenyan, so I'm assuming fufu will be like ugali or something, yada, yada, yada. It was not a secret. He said this in that very video before they tried the Nigerian food. So they tried the Nigerian food, right? And the Kenyan guy said some offensive things about the Nigerian food. He said that it looked like dog food or something like that, right? And would you believe that in the comments, 98% of the comments were Africans attacking Black Americans. They was like, oh, y'all ain't got no culture. Y'all don't know what's good. So, yada, yada, yada. What are you saying? This man is Kenyan American. And again, it wasn't no secret. It wasn't like, oh, I've watched her videos before, so I happen to know that, but he didn't mention that in this video. No, he literally said in the beginning of this video, I'm Kenyan American, so I'm assuming Fufu will be similar to Ugali, yada, yada, yada. He made it very clear that he was not Black American, African American, ADOS, FBA, whatever you call us, right? Yet, the comments were overwhelmingly Africans attacking Black Americans, even though that man was not a Black American, right? Because again, you all have this thing where you like to just use Black Americans as a scapegoat instead of sitting there and talking about the actual issue, how clearly there are issues between different groups of Africans. If this Kenyan guy is making fun of Nigerian, whatever, or talking about how, okay, he's Kenyan American, so clearly there's a generational difference. He's looking down on, you know, Africans from Africa and they culture food, whatever. Instead of talking about your actual issues, y'all jump to use Black Americans as a scapegoat every single time. That was such an eye-opening experience for me. It was so heartbreaking because at that point, you know, prior to that point, I've been a Pan-Africanist. Oh, you know, like all of us is black is black, yada, yada, yada. But when I saw that interaction where a Kenyan dude made fun of Nigerian food and y'all responded by violently attacking Black Americans, they were saying some vile shit, right? That was like such an eye-opening experience for me. And since then, I have not been a Pan-Africanist at all. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm still all anti-white supremacy. And I mean, if push come to shove, like, of course, you know, I'm siding with anybody Black before anybody else, right? But I'm putting my ethnic group first because, like, everybody else does too, because this is my thing, right? So the Kenyan American dude said something about Nigerians, right? Instead of y'all, you know, hashing that out and saying, hey, we need to discuss, you know, like what's going on between different groups of Africans because clearly there's some something going on there, right? No, y'all still stuck together in the African identity before you would break apart from that. You know what I'm saying? Even though another African is the one who attacked you, you still was like, well, I'm not going to attack you. I'm going to just attack Black Americans instead. I was like, yo, what? So that was what really made me realize, yeah, you know, like, I got to put my ethnic group first the same way y'all do. Like, the same exact way y'all do. Anyway, that's just one example. I've posted many videos over the years. And recently, I deleted a lot of my videos because it was just too many of them. I literally had 1,800 videos. That's just too damn much, right? So I deleted a lot of them because, I mean, in a lot of my videos, I talk about the exact same stuff. So I mean, like, what's the point of me having a 5-year-old video of me talking about the same stuff I'm talking about today? I don't really see the point. And it just felt very cluttered, right? But my point is this. I've made a lot of videos about how y'all be capping, big capping. Like, I be seeing Africans and Caribbeans who grew up in the United States talking about they got made fun of by Black Americans for being, like, for example, okay? A lot of Haitians will say they got made fun of by Black Americans for being Haitian. Meanwhile, I'm not even joking. We didn't even know what the fuck a Haiti was. I remember in 8th grade, Haiti got hit by an earthquake, right? And they told us, they were like, oh, the Red Cross is fundraising. Haiti got hit by an earthquake if y'all want to donate. We was like, what the fuck is a Haiti? And then they told us, oh, Black people live there. And we was like, oh, what? Like we all donating this stuff, right? Because my point is this, bitch, we didn't know what a Haiti was to be making fun of you for being Haitian. Like, that's just the reality. The reality is a lot of times you all lived around other children of immigrants, right? So, of course, you know, other children of immigrants know about the Caribbean or Africa or whatever, right? Of course, they're going to know the difference between a Haitian and a Jamaican and a Ghanaian and a Nigerian or whatever, right? The reality is that most of the time, the people making fun of y'all for being Haitian or Jamaican or blah, blah, were you all, bro, because we didn't even know the differences between y'all or that y'all even existed to make fun of you for something like that. Like, when I tell you, I'm not even joking, bro. When I was in 9th grade, I met my best friend, right? Mind you, I had no idea she was Caribbean, okay? So finally, I go over her house in like 10th grade because, you know, Black American parents, they not letting you go nowhere. My parents had to interview her parents and it was a whole bunch, right? So I go over her parents' house and I hear they accents and then I'm like, oh, well, clearly they not American, right? So I didn't know what the Caribbean was, though. Okay, so I wasn't like, oh, they're Guyanese and Trinidadian. No, I didn't know what the Caribbean was, right? Like, to this day, dog, let me tell y'all something that happened in I think this was 10th grade. Yeah, this was 10th grade, right? So the French teacher had asked us, do you know anybody whose parents don't speak English at home? So I'm like, oh my God, I know my best friend, her parents don't speak English, right? So I go to her history class to drag her to my French class. And she's like, girl, what do you want, right? And I'm like, Madam Cannon said, like, you know, like anybody who parents don't speak English at home. And then my best friend was like, my parents speak English. And I was like, they do? Because, like, when I tell y'all they accents was so thick, I didn't even realize they were speaking English. I'm not even joking, bro. But that's my point. Like, even when I met her parents and learned that she was not American, I still ain't know what the Caribbean was. And that's not even just me being me or whatever, right? That's just the case with most Black Americans. We're not learning about the Caribbean and Africa. That's just the reality, right? So when y'all sit here talking about y'all were made fun of by Black Americans for being Jamaican or something, it's like, yeah, that's big capping, because we didn't even know y'all existed to be making fun of y'all for being whatever. Like I said, it was you all making fun of each other. It was other children of immigrants making fun of each other. And it's crazy because I scrolled past this other video. I don't think I saved it though, right? This guy was talking about how, like, growing up, he never embraced being Haitian, like, but now, you know, now he embraces his heritage, whatever. He was talking about how, like, growing up, Haitians got made fun of, now they embrace it, yada, 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 right? And he was like, yeah, like, we used to lie and say we was Jamaican and all this other stuff, right? And it's crazy because I be seeing Caribbeans and Africans talking about Black Americans are now false claiming being Caribbean and African. I'm like, that's not a thing. What's happening is that, again, the children of immigrants used to pretend to be Black American and they made fun of each other and all of that stuff, right? But now as adults, they're actually identifying as their actual identity. So you're looking at somebody who used to lie about being Black American and saying, oh, now you claiming to be Haitian. But no, that person was never Black American. They were just false claiming for whatever reason, because apparently y'all would make fun of each other for being of whatever background. That's why I'm so glad this woman made this video and told the truth. I'm glad she told the truth, that those were African and Caribbean children of immigrants laughing at an African man's accent, right? Now, I don't know what on earth prompts y'all to do this. I guess it's your thirst to assimilate or something. You know, you get to a new place, you don't want to stick out, you want to fit in, right? Okay, I guess that's what it is. But I mean, at the same time, she said the school has primarily African and Caribbean kids. It wasn't like a predominantly white school with a couple African and Caribbean kids. So they like, oh, like I'm trying to assimilate. No, it was a bunch of African and Caribbean kids. So it's like, what are you assimilating into? You know, like, so I don't even know what's going on there. Now, I'm not finna sit here and lie. I'm not finna sit here and lie and say that Black Americans are perfect or don't say anything ignorant or anything like that, right? Because what I will say is this, okay? So on TV in America, whenever they show Africa, it's like a feed the needy commercial. It's some hungry kid with flies flying around. They're like, oh, 10 cents a day can save little Undaku, right? So some Black Americans do say ignorant things about Africans, right? But this is my thing. First of all, don't the Black Americans be saying nothing about Caribbeans. Now, of course, that's changing in recent years because, you know, the internet is huge. Everybody is, you know, experiencing everybody. But growing up before the internet was a thing, that just was not a thing, right? So when y'all be talking about how when y'all was growing up, so folks was making fun of you for being Caribbean, that's just not even a thing, bro. That's not even a thing because nobody knew the Caribbean existed. Like I said, at least we saw Africa on TV, you know, so somebody might say something ignorant. Oh, like, did you live in a hut back there or something? You know what I'm saying? But with the Caribbean, that just didn't happen. Be for real. Like I've mentioned before, I used to date a Kenyan guy, and one time he came out of nowhere. I guess he was trying to catch me off guard. He was like, what do African Americans say about Kenyans? And I was like, nothing. We don't talk about Kenyans. And I was like, honestly, we don't talk about Africans. Like, you're very rarely going to hear an African American speak on Africans. And if you do, it's just going to be like, you know, like one little comment. Maybe they'll say, oh, African booty scratcher or something. I don't know, right? It's just going to be one little thing, and it's going to be about Africans in general. There's never any specificity. There's never any, oh, like, Kenyans are stingy, or, oh, Ghanaians are rude, or South Africans are this. Like, no, it's never any specificity to it because honestly, like, again, until recently, because, you know, the internet is big. Everybody's talking to people from all over and stuff now, right? So it's different now. But back then, we didn't even know y'all existed. So when y'all get on here talking about we made fun of y'all. Like, a lot of times, this video this woman made, it would have been like, oh, yeah, the kids were laughing at the Igbo man's accent. They were Black American kids. Bro, like, y'all, like, come on, just be for real.